On today's show, we're going to explore the most important TikTok updates so you're in the know for you and your clients and how to apply them to your marketing, including for some niches, there's a new way to get more visibility. Also, some interesting psychological insights from consumers on TikTok that can shape your marketing. Our longer videos finally gaining traction on TikTok. We'll update you on that. And if you've ever worked with a client, I know when I was at an agency, this was always the case. If you ever worked with a client that should be making content for their brand, but is unwilling to or doesn't have the time, pretty cool new AI tool that you're going to want to know about. My name is Jerry Potter. Yes, it rhymes with the boy wizard. And this is the Social Media Marketing Talk Show, a social media examiner production where we break down all the latest social media news and what it means for marketers like you. Today, I'm joined by Kenya Kelly. Kenya is a TikTok and Instagram Reels expert and runs a social media agency and is host of the Kenya Kelly podcast. Kenya, welcome to the show.
Thank you. So excited to
So
be here.
let's
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so let's start off with a really scary thing for anyone with a shopping compulsion is that apparently now Amazon and TikTok have a little marriage going on here. So what is this update? Fill us in on this.
For sure. So TikTok and Amazon have formed a partnership to where if you are on the TikTok platform, you're going to start seeing like products and services that you will be interested in, and you can actually buy it directly on the inside of TikTok. So if you see those, whether it's a couch or it's a blanket or whatever it is that you for your cat and dog, you never have to leave the TikTok platform. It's easy to click buy on Amazon and then keep scrolling on TikTok.
And this is basically removing all of the friction that it might be if you were linking previously. And I got to wonder, do you think Amazon paid them for this or they're earning a commission or what? I'm just any thoughts on how they work that out?
So my theory is that you know how they've been talking about banning TikTok and all the things, and TikTok have been talking about opening up like a fulfillment center here in the US, similar
Yes.
to what they're doing in the UK. I think this is their way of forming an American partnership in a
Got
way
it.
where America makes money, you know, the government makes money, and then
Ah.
they get in Amazon goods graces. So I don't think that they're earning or anything. I think it's a smart move on both of their ends to do some type of partnership. I don't know. That's just what I think.
Okay. All right. So this is rolling out to people in the US. So if you have your products on Amazon, much less friction to sell them here going
Mhm.
forward. The tricky thing with this type of thing, though, is if you are marketing to people around the world, but it only works in the US. Like, for example, I know on YouTube, there's places where you can link to stuff now in
Mhm.
stores and earn affiliate income. But then in some countries, people can't see it at all. So
Mhm.
that'll be the one thing to kind of try and figure out and navigate.
Yeah, I'm
So,
pretty sure they figured that thing. I think it's gonna be quite the explosion because yeah.
yeah, because there's no friction. I know
Mhm.
I have one friend that's in trouble because she's on TikTok all the time and loves to shop. So, all right. So, speaking of shopping, TikTok did release their shopping trend report, and a lot of these things are kind of like, okay, yeah, that's what I would expect. But any
Mhm.
highlights from this that you saw that you think are worth sharing with marketers?
I don't think so. I think that it's a lot of the similar things that people are already doing when it comes to being over on TikTok. I think it's their way of just encouraging you again what is happening, how people are making their purchases. Like you know, back in the day, it's not like people really cared about who the CEO was or what the values are, but now you are seeing where shoppers care way more about like what are the core values of the company, what are they what are they how did like how does the brand actually feel when you go behind the scenes? And I think that it is really teaching brands like listen, like if you're really going to have an impact with your business moving forward, there's some things that has to change in terms of how people are making buying decisions.
Yeah, and that totally makes sense. They say millennials are the first generation to in mass shop based on their values. Like they'll pay more
Mhm.
for something from a company that they like.
Mhm.
So yeah, I saw they also talked about they called it sanctuaries of self care. So people are soothing themselves of loneliness by investing in self care.
Mhm.
And but I think yeah, I agree. The biggest thing was that you know the relationship between brands and consumers is evolving in a
Mhm.
big way. So
Yep.
all right, lots more to cover around TikTok. But if you've ever wished you could attend Social Media Marketing World in beautiful San Diego, soaking up the sun and connecting with marketers around the world, it's amazing. But we know that everybody can't do that. Everybody can't travel, or everybody can't travel that time of year. If dipping your toes in the sand won't work for you, we do have another option. Our virtual ticket is the next best thing to attending the conference in person. It offers you all the great marketing content without the headache or expense of travel. You get recordings of everything from the conference. Plus, you can stream the keynotes and sessions live during the event. You can learn more about the virtual ticket right now. Just go to socialmediamarketing.world. Again, socialmediamarketing.world. All right. Lead generation. This is a big move. TikTok just announced this week that they are making lead generation easier. I was just talking to an ads friend this morning and he was venting about this. So he'll be excited about this, where now you can actually have an instant form built into your TikTok ads where people can fill it out without having to leave or go to a website. And of course, you can still send them to your website as well. But overall, tracking is supposed to get much
Mhm.
better. So, from your experience, I know you do a lot of organic, but what's lead gen been like, you think, for most businesses previously versus what we're going to be able to do now?
For sure. So it used to be something where when someone filled out a form, it would sit like you would get this like Excel spreadsheet. It wasn't like a really good the way that marketers typically market, how we're like able to generate the lead and take them where we want them to go. So that's kind of been the process. But it was interesting when we were talking about it pre-show. I remember now that there has been something on TikTok myself. I saw something to I think it was to go to an event or something. And when I clicked on it, all of my information that I had already given TikTok was in that form, and all I had to do was hit click. And so that just hit me when you were just talking that like it literally makes it like so easy. I don't have to remember anything. So I think this is, taking away again the friction for marketers that when they are advertising on TikTok, everything is right there. A person doesn't have to go and find a bunch of things if they've already got it populated in the app. It's just going to make it such an easier process for marketers.
Yeah, and you can always get a lot more leads with this. Like Facebook has had something like this for years. The downside on Facebook sometimes is the person's email address that they started their Facebook account with 20 years ago or whatever is
Yeah.
often not the one they check.
Yeah.
And generally, if you do want to experiment with this, our experience has been you will get more leads if you have the form automatically filled out because they don't have to do as much. But sometimes they
Mhm.
tend to be lower quality. But sometimes that's worth it, right? If you can market to them in other ways. So
Yeah.
it's good to see TikTok finally building that part out. And then when it comes to native content on TikTok, a new study is saying that longer videos are growing both in the number of people uploading them as well as consuming them. So, what have you seen around this, Kenya?
Yeah, so I just got a notification on one of my accounts that said I can upload up to 30 minutes on TikTok. And, this has been
Wow.
going on for a while. And I was just sharing earlier that, like, I find myself watching Grey's Anatomy, Chicago Med, and then some of the other shows that I had never watched on TV. And oftentimes I will just be watching for so long and I get so hooked in the same way that I would if I was watching TV and I forget that I'm on TikTok. So we are finding people recording much longer videos, uploading longer videos. Like for me, for lunch today, I was doing my lunch and I recorded a long video. It is 3 minutes and I'm going to upload it. And I guarantee you, people are going to watch it. So it's just like there's something, the big shift has happened and it is happening and it's working.
So, was this a video of you like talking through something while you made lunch or ate lunch,
Yep.
or
So I
you're
was
talking
just,
with
I
your
was
mouth
just
full? What are you doing exactly here?
so I was making there's this viral recipe of like cucumbers, and I like love the recipe. And so I
Okay.
was just making the cucumber recipe, talking and encouraging people to become content creators. So they're watching my process and they're also listening to me and being encouraged because we know from a marketing standpoint, people's attention span is just gone. And so I know that if I can talk to you and get you watching my whole process of making this cucumber situation, you're going to stay all the way to the end and it works.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, anytime, if you think about some of the first videos to become popular on YouTube, it was like Casey Neistat back in the day. It was people opening mail. And
Oh
it's
yeah,
because you want to see like what's inside. And so that's why that
exactly.
process is so
Yep.
helpful. Very, very smart. And to be clear, this study by Tubular Labs, they did say short clips still remain very, very popular, but
Mhm.
videos between 30 seconds and 2 minutes are seeing substantial growth in uploads and
Mhm.
viewer engagement. So they are getting out there and they are getting seen.
Mhm.
So this next story is good for some of us, not for others. It's a way to potentially encourage your followers, I think, to see more of your content. And they're calling it a managed topics tool. So, explain to us what this is on TikTok and then how you think maybe brands can take advantage of this.
Yeah, so it's basically saying that you can, well, first of all, you're going to update your own personal content preferences of what you want to actually experience with your content. It kind of reminds me of what's happening over on Instagram, that in your settings, you can tell them, like, this is what my content is about, but also here's the type of content that we want you to send to us. And so on TikTok, you're able to go in and kind of like tell the platform, like, this is who you are and what you create content around, but at the same time you are saying that send me this type of content. So I feel like that people can like go into their settings, and you can actually, like, for me, I can say Instagram, TikTok marketing, or what have you, and potentially it's going to send my content to people that are interested in that type of content. That's what I got from it.
Well, I mean, it's definitely on the consumer side, as you said. And unfortunately, like I went in, the type of content I like to consume the most is marketing, creator,
Mhm.
entrepreneur content. And that's not one of the options, unfortunately. And
Right.
so that, but if you go in and look at this, and this is rolling out to users in the US, if you go in and look at this and you are either in one of the topics, this could be really good, or if you are topic adjacent, I think you
Mm.
could potentially shift some of your content to kind of fall into some of those categories, because I think for these categories, we're going to see increased viewership because people are now, uh, I don't know, part of me thinks the TikTok algorithm is smarter than all of us anyway, but you
Mhm.
can now go in and increase some of these. The one that jumped out to me as a human was there's one where they didn't call it topical, but it was basically if you don't want to see news content,
Yeah.
you can turn that down. So for
Yeah.
me, TikTok is like, I don't want to know what's going on in the world when I open
Yeah.
TikTok. I want to just, I'm like, I want to veg out. So,
Yeah. I think this is one of those things that TikTok has to do for the government standpoint of like
uh,
giving, like, letting people opt out of certain things, or like literally programming the algorithm to do what, the US wants it to do. That's kind of what I think it really is about.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. All right. So Instagram is notorious for borrowing features, we'll call it, from TikTok and Snapchat. But now TikTok is testing something that is looks like it's pretty much borrowed from Instagram's Notes feature, and they're calling
Mhm.
it Thoughts. Is that right?
Mhm. Yeah, so now it's not available to everybody. I don't even think it's all the way in the US. But now, when you have your profile, on the top of your profile, it has like a little bubble, very similar to what's happening over on Instagram. And you can put whatever thought you want to put there. At this point, I'm not sure how many characters it gives you, but if I had to guess, it's probably going to be exactly the same as Instagram.
Okay. Which is what, a handful, 50 or something like that. And then, of course,
Yeah,
there's
maybe 80 characters, maybe.
yeah, and there's the number that actually show in the bubble without clicking on it too. So that's the
Correct.
other thing to keep in mind. And this is an unconfirmed test. It's just something that's been seen out in the wild. But
Hmm.
Notes is very popular on Facebook and Instagram. So
Yes.
no surprise that that's happening.
Hmm.
And an AI update from TikTok. They're now enabling users to create their own AI voiceover voice. So you can basically make an AI voice that sounds like your voice. Is that
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, so because right now there's like a lot of different voices on TikTok when you put text, and you can like choose a scary voice, a humorous voice, any kind of voice or what have you, but you couldn't use your own. But now they have enabled a feature where I can go in and I can program it to my voice. So that way when my text on screen shows up, it'll be in my voice. I'm excited about that, but also very leery about that. So we'll see.
Yes, I get that. A lot of people are leery about it. Hopefully, they'll have some protections built in.
Yeah.
But this was the feature that I thought, like when I was at an agency and we had people that were the face of their brand that we did their social media marketing for, but we couldn't sit them down to record anything. And I thought,
Mhm.
oh man, even if you could just have their voice in there,
Yeah.
they'd have to trust you, like you just
Mhm.
brought up.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but it would be really cool to be able to have that as an option, because then you could create voice, and I'm sure video will come eventually
Correct.
without having to include them in all of that. So
Mhm.
all right. TikTok is now bringing more updates to DMs. A couple of updates here that we want to make sure that you're aware of, just from how people are using TikTok. Fill us in on these, Kenya.
So I'm so excited about DM. There's so many different updates that they're doing with the DMs, and one of them is that you're able to upload graphics and stickers in the DM, because for the longest time as it's been out, you can only technically write things in the DMs, but now you can utilize GIFs, you can utilize graphics and things of that nature. I think also what's going to come in there is you're going to be able to put clickable links. We're not there yet, but I think we're on our way there. And of course, they opened up group chats.
which I didn't realize that they did. I'm not a big group chat person. And so I was like, I didn't have group chats. That seems crazy. So
Mhm.
group chats, you can do up to 32 people, which is a big chat. And
Yeah.
I think from a brand standpoint, it would be really cool to have like your VIP people or
Mhm.
people that want to know first about special deals or,
Mhm.
different, like there's a lot of ways that brands could take advantage of this, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that this is them testing for broadcast channels. Because the
Ah,
broadcast channels are awesome on Instagram. You use them well. And I think this is TikTok's way of being like, okay, let's try this and go.
yeah. Broadcast channels are interesting because they're not that like they're only a couple of features away from just becoming another feed. I don't know
Oh,
if you've noticed, like they
yeah.
keep adding more stuff. They're like, now you
Yeah,
can reply to them. Now you can do this, and now you
exactly.
can do
Yeah,
that.
we're
So
like, really? Yeah.
all right, this next update before the show, Kenya goes, I've been predicting this, and now it's happening. And it's called TikTok Spotlight. So tell us exactly what this is and how it works.
So, one of the things that happens on TikTok is people will talk about movies, TV shows, and all types of things because there's communities, right? So, there's reality TV communities, there's the Harry Potter communities, whatever. Well, now there's a feature where let's just say I am talking about because I've been watching Love is Blind UK, and let's just say I've got an image behind me and I'm talking about Love is Blind UK. Well, TikTok Spotlight is going to allow for a clickable links within that. So, like, you'll see me on screen talking about it, and then you'll see a little like kind of like an event thing on the left hand side of me or what have you. And what's going to happen is that you are going to be able to click to either buy a ticket for the event, to watch the event somewhere like on HBO or Netflix or things of that nature. If you're going to go to the movies and you're talking about a movie that's coming out, you're going to be able to buy a ticket directly there on the screen, and the brands or whomever has the movie show or what have you can then collaborate with those creators to help bring attention to their movies, because I mean we know right now that like films are trying different ways of getting people to watch and buy and subscribe or what have you. Well, now one of the easiest ways to do it is through creators, and so they've just built that into to me, I think it's next level, and it's also predicting the movies that are going to come on TikTok. But that's a whole nother conversation.
So you'll be able to rent them on there. Do you
Oh
think
yeah.
like is there some sort of notification process, or if one of the brands listening right now got big enough to be spotlighted, because it's all
Hmm.
happening
Hmm.
automatically in real time, right? It's not
Hmm.
something that somebody's sitting down and going, a lot of people are talking about the new Beetlejuice, let's make a spotlight.
Right.
Like would you get notified, or would you just kind of have to be monitoring your brand,
No,
I'm guessing?
I think it's more notification first. Like anytime something is connecting with a creator and some type of brand, a creator is notified first that they have an opportunity to partner. And that's typically what happens. So if this creator always talks about movies, that creator has gotten some type of message saying, "Hey, we want to invite you to this new program," and then they're being encouraged to talk about certain things. Most of the public has no idea what's happening, but that creator or those creators being invited are starting to do it. Once that happens, then you start seeing even more creators doing the same thing and being invited to the program. So I don't think it just automatically adds to the creator's content, because that would be them taking advantage of that creator. But they
Hmm.
want a way for the creator to be able to make money and just partner with TikTok and whatever the brand is.
Okay. These platforms move a million miles a minute, which is why now is the perfect time to look into a virtual ticket to join us at Social Media Marketing World. That's where the conversations and the trainings go deeper. You can learn more right now. Go to socialmediamarketing.world. Again, socialmediamarketing.world. And Kenya Kelly, where do you want people to check you out?
Yeah. So first of all, make sure you guys come to San Diego, get your ticket, because I'll be there talking about TikTok and TikTok Shop. So that's the first place I'll be. But you also can listen to the My podcast is called the Kenya Kelly Podcast, and you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all the places under Kenya Kelly.
Awesome. And if you want to add another podcast to your listening lineup, check out the Social Media Marketing Podcast as well. Until next time, may you be wise with your marketing decisions. Thanks, everyone.